8 children, not one of them in the room, not one of them given a phone call, not one of them told their father was dying until they read about it the same place the rest of the world did. That is the truth Tanya Montana Coe has just revealed, and it is one of the most heartbreaking things to emerge from the death of David Allan Coe, a man celebrated as an outlaw, a legend, a writer of perfect songs, who apparently kept his own children as far outside his life as he kept the Nashville establishment. David Allan Coe died on April 29, 2026, at the age of 86 in a hospital in Tennessee. His wife Kimberly was with him, and according to his daughter Tanya, none of his 8 children were. She said it plainly and without hesitation. None of us 8 children had access to him. Not estranged, not a mutual drifting apart, no access, a wall built by him, maintained by him, and eventually circumvented by 2 of his daughters who did something extraordinary. Her sister Carla and she tracked down his address, on their own, without his invitation, without his permission, and they performed 2 wellness checks on him in the last year and a half. 2 daughters, tracking down their own father's address, going to check whether he was alive and okay, because nobody was telling them anything, and they loved him enough to show up uninvited, unannounced, just to make sure he was still in the world. That is not estrangement. That is the opposite of estrangement. That is 2 women who kept reaching even when the door stayed closed. And then there is the last conversation, the one she is still not sure was even real. The last time she spoke with him was when she was texting him while he was hospitalized after his 2013 car crash in Florida, when a semi-truck struck his vehicle after he ran a red light at 1:30 a.m. Rescue crews spent nearly 2 hours freeing him from the wreckage. He had broken ribs, bruised kidneys, and 48 stitches to his head. And Tanya was texting the number, trying to reach her father in a hospital, and she does not know to this day whether it was actually him texting back or someone else using his phone, pretending to be him. She was trying so hard to maintain a connection that she was texting a number she wasn't even sure her father was on the other end of, because the alternative was giving up, and she never gave up on him. Now the word she wishes she had never used. She used the word estrangement in September 2025 when she first spoke publicly about her distance from her father, and she regrets it. She said clearly, most people interpret estrangement as a choice she made, and that, she said, is the opposite of the truth. She should have said, my dad stopped reaching out. He stopped seeing me when I came to his shows. He made it impossible for me to reach him despite years of trying. He made it impossible. The wall was his. She was on the outside of it, knocking, showing up at concerts, tracking down addresses, performing wellness checks, loving him from a distance he imposed. And then she said something that has stopped everyone who read it. She knows why he chose that route, and that it really has nothing to do with her or their love for one another. That sentence is the grace in this story. A woman who spent years being shut out, who found out her father was dead on social media, who begged strangers on the internet to tell her when the funeral would be, saying, the silence was not about love. The love was always there, on both sides, even when the door was closed. His former manager confirmed it from his own angle. He was estranged from his children when I started working with him, and I never knew the reason why. Even the people closest to him, professionally, never understood it. The wall was not just for the children. It was for everyone who came close enough to see what he was carrying alone. He was suffering emotionally inside always, Tanya said. He had an extremely traumatic childhood and early adult life, and she is not excusing him. She is understanding him, from the outside, with more compassion than he probably gave himself in his darkest hours. All of us children loved, and will continue to love our dad more than this dimension can contain. 8 children, no access, and still more love than this dimension can contain. All we ever wanted was for him to feel free in his soul and in his spirit and be happy. We hope he can be now. That is the goodbye David Allan Coe received from his children. Not closure, not resolution, just love. Enormous, unconditional love sent across a wall that he built and they could never tear down. Rest in peace, David Allan Coe. September 6, 1939, April 29, 2026. Thank you for watching.